everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Jojo Palacio. If you are not, thank you for coming back and tuning in once again. So on this channel, we talk about all things beauty, and today we are discussing a topic that I feel like is common and very frustrating for a lot of women, which is brows. So if you are not absolutely blessed with a full thick brow, that is okay. If you've got really light hair, really thin brows, you're aging, they're lighter, gray, whatever the case is, this frustration is shared by so many women. And I should know, working at Sephora for about 5 years now, that is probably one of the most requested services besides foundation and concealing matching of all, is brows. They walk right into the store and they say, make my brows look like yours. Easy, right? No, it's not. But hopefully this video helps make this process simple for you. I feel like a lot of clients need to understand that there is not one size fits all for brows, and there is not one product that does absolutely everything for brows. But I'm going to show you through this video how you can overcome those challenges and how it's going to be simple and easy to understand. So if you've got these items, pull them in front of you, use them with me today during this video. If you don't, that's okay. You can bring a notepad, write the name of the items down so that you can then purchase and rewatch the video later. So without further delay, let's get into this everyday eyebrow. Just doing your brows, there are some universal rules that you can use that are good for every day to help you. And so we'll go through those rules very quickly, very briefly. If you guys want to see a more in-depth tutorial, comment down below. And if you want to see a different style, like maybe a fuller Instagram brow or a feathered brow, definitely comment down below and I can absolutely make some videos on brows. So for today's look, I've got my mirror here. There are a few things that you are going to need for an everyday brow. Now, the one misconception clients have is that one tool is going to do everything. Unfortunately, that's not true. Because our brows have need of definition, and then sometimes there's need of volume, or maybe you just don't have tint or color to your hair. Maybe it's gray or super blonde. You're gonna need something to help you with that, as well as something to help you clean up after yourself and keep things in place. What could those things possibly be? Well, I got you. So the first thing you're gonna need is a defining tool. This is the Precisely My Brow by Benefit Cosmetics. I like this guy just because the end is nice and sharp. Sharp as in the well-defined, not like sharp that it's gonna cut you. So it's got a nice defined tip to it, as well as there's a spoolie on the other end. And the color, the product itself blends out perfectly. So to help build volume as well as maybe bring forward some of the finer, thinner, lighter hairs, you're gonna need something that's gonna be like a mascara for your brows. So this guy is also by Benefit Cosmetics. It's called the Gimme Brow. You guys can see how much I've used it, how much I love it. So the Gimme Brow, again, is just a small little mascara wand for your brows. The nice thing about the Gimme Brow and why I like to recommend this product to clients is it has tint as well as fibers. So if you're someone who has concerns about having thinner, less fuller brows, these fibers are gonna help to just naturally build up your brow. The next thing that you're gonna need is something to help clean up. This is where you can just bring in your concealer. Whatever concealer you use, you can help just to kind of clean up the areas underneath of the arch, maybe define a little above the arch and in the inner corner, just to help clean up so that you can have that very sharp, structured brow. And lastly, I just like to use a setting gel. And so what I like to use is this Anastasia Clear Brow Gel. There are many clear brow gels. There are a lot that do really great, especially in the drugstore. However, this I go back to time after time just because I like the way that it just really locks things in place and keeps it all day. So now that we know what we're using, let's get started on our brows. So using our Benefit Brow Pencil, the first thing that I want to do is just map out where my brows are going to start and stop. That is a big thing. So if you have brows that go way too far out, that's going to give you that sad clown look. That's going to give you a very heavy, kind of almost depressed looking eye, just an inverted eye. So what you need to do is go ahead and look in the mirror. And so using the very same brow pencil, you're going to place that right where the end of your nostril is on the nose, and just looking right into the mirror, you're going to follow that, and right where that straight line ends is where you're going to put your first dot there. So that is where your brow should ideally end. Now let's decide where the brow should start. So you're gonna do the exact same thing, except instead of pointing it angled towards your ear, you're gonna point it straight up towards the ceiling, and that is where your brow should start. And so I like to just make sure I make these little markers to remind myself as I am shaping my brow that that is the shape that I should be following. So where should your arch be? If you're someone who doesn't have an arch, it's very important. Like that's a huge part of your personality, right? Like brows are that important to the face. That is why you're going to do the exact same thing, the first 2 steps that we just did, but you're gonna do that, aim it directly in the center where your iris, the eyeball, let me not be fancy, the eyeball is. So you're gonna just put that there, and that is where your arch should be. Okay, so now we've got our 3 dots. We're gonna repeat the same steps to the other side. Okay, so now that you've marked out where your brow should ideally start and stop and where the arch should be, you are going to, I like to start by doing the top part. And so we're gonna define first, which means we're gonna use this pencil that we've been holding. And so what I like to do for a more natural brow is just shape the top so that when you comb up, you're gonna see the natural root of where the hair is attached to the skin, and that just makes it more skin-like, more natural. And so what you wanna do is just use light stroking motions. You never wanna just draw in your brow. Drawing straight lines on a brow is not gonna help that natural look. What you wanna do is just imitate hair-like strokes. And follow the direction of your hair. So if your hair starts to go down in this area, that's where you start to go down as well with your hair strokes. Okay, you always want to follow what your actual hair is doing so that it looks as natural as possible. So for me personally, I prefer to leave this area, which is the center closest to the center of the face, nice and faded out. If you want to fill it in and define it further, you can absolutely do that. But as of right now, I am just going to stop filling in that top part, and I'm going to comb my hairs up now. So after we finish combing up the hairs, again, we want to follow the direction of the hair, and that's where we're going to create our strokes. I like to make sure that I fill in the arch first, and then I'll come in and fill in the center or the inner corner. Like you can see, as I do 2 or 3 strokes, I'll stop and just kind of blend everything in with the spoolie or the brush end of the pencil. That's going to be very important to help distribute the product without overdoing it. Alright guys, so both brows have been defined, they've been filled in, and that's been done using our pencil. Now I'm going to go in and just kind of build up, fluff up the brow. This is where we're adding volume, and if you're someone who doesn't really have pigment to your hairs on the brows, or they're finer, thinner hairs, you can definitely do this step to help fluff them up, judge them up a little bit. So this is where we're going to bring in the Benefit Gimme Brow. I use it in the shade number 4. They have lots of nice cool tone and warm tone shades, so check that out. If you're someone who struggled with matching your eyebrows before, they offer a variety of colors. So what I like to do is take this, and I like to just recommend my clients first fluff their brows up by combing opposite of the hairs. What you do with this is if there are any stubborn hairs that are sticking to your head, if there are any stubborn hairs that won't kind of wake up, you can definitely tease them up a little bit, but also by coating both sides of the hair, you are creating a fuller brow. So once you've done that, then you definitely want to just comb everything back in its place. The Gimme Brow is going to help distribute color as well as fiber to give you a fuller, fluffier brow. If you missed anything when you were defining with your pencil, this has got color to it, so it's going to help fill those areas in. Alright, so now that we've defined and we've filled in with volume, the next thing we're going to do is just clean up. So what I like to use is a defining brush. This one is by Real Techniques, and I also like to use a concealer. I just happen to have my Benefit Bowing Cakeless Concealer here, and what I'm going to do is pick up a little bit of the concealer on my brush. And what I'm going to do is work in a little at a time, and what I really like to define is the arch up here, and then sometimes this inner corner can get a little messy, so I'm just going to take that and just very lightly go underneath. This is going to create a highlight. If you're someone who's got droopy lids, this is really going to help to lift them, give you that instant facelift situation. You're welcome. And so I just like to make sure that I do, again, light strokes, very light pressure. You want to be careful with this area. It is a very sensitive area. And so I'll just finish blending with my finger, but I'll make sure that this is nice and defined and carved out. So this is why if you are someone who is beginning or you're starting out with your brow, relax, take a breath, it's okay. We're gonna clean it up. All right guys, after you have defined, filled in and given it some volume, cleaned up after yourself, now we can set and lock it in place. So this is where we're gonna use our clear brow gel. Clear brow gel literally is just a gel for your eyebrows. This has no pigment, it has no fiber, it is just literally there to set them in place. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and give it a good coat. Make sure that my brow hairs are covered in this. It is almost instantly drying, but once I'm done coating the brow, I'm just gonna use the brush head to really make sure I keep these hairs up here in place. They like to get a little wild sometimes. All right guys, so this is what the brows look like at the end. Very nice, structured, defined brow. It's still very natural just because you can see a lot of the hair strokes. It's a brow that you can see through. This is what I consider an everyday brow. I hope that this was a short and simple tutorial for you. If you liked it, hit the thumbs up, hit the like button down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday of the week. You can look me up on Instagram under jojo_palacio, where we talk about all things beauty and a lot more. I can't wait to hear from you guys. So I will see you guys next time on this channel. Love you, blessings.